All right. So we're here with Tom McCarthy, the television play-by-play announcer for the Phillies, and I just want to talk to you a little bit today about what's going on with the Phillies lately. And first off, what do you take from their opening day performance yesterday?
Well, I think that there's still some inconsistencies that got to be figured out, and I think every team has gone through that. Well, a lot of teams have gone through them. Not everybody can be as can cruise the first 3 days like the Nationals did. But from a Phillies standpoint, their bullpen is a little different than last year. Guys that got experience last year are coming back in a little different roles, and I think we saw that yesterday, that they're still kind of feeling their way through. They're 5 for 26 right now with runners in scoring position offensively. So that's one of the things that they have to shore up as well.
Now, looking at the dynamic of the team, how the team is built, do you think it's going to be hard to compete with Washington and Atlanta down the stretch?
That's a good question. I think one thing about Atlanta, we saw them for the first 3 games. I mean, they're young and they've got pop, but they also strike out a lot. Last year they struck out 4th highest total in all the National League. If you put B.J. Upton and Justin Upton into that lineup from last year, which is pretty much what you do, and Juan Francisco into Chipper Jones' spot, they're going to blow away the strikeout lead in the National League. So that's one way where the Phillies can have an advantage, is that they'll make more contact than, let's say, the Braves will. The Nationals are, they're the team to beat right now. But I do think that there's still some inconsistencies with some of their everyday players that, once they hit their lull, they lost 15-0 to the Reds on the 4th day of the season. Who knows that only 2 teams in baseball history have lost by 15 runs in a season, in a game, and have gone to the World Series.
Okay.
So
that's a good stat. Good stat. So, looking at Doc Holliday's first performance, a lot of strikeouts, gave up a lot of runs. Is he getting older? Is that just?
Well, he's getting older. We're all getting older.
Right.
But I think he's still trying to figure out getting older. His velocity, his average velocity was about 90 miles an hour, 89.5 in that first start, which was good. But his location with that fastball was not what he wants it to be. You will not meet anybody that is more of a worker than he is.
Right.
So hopefully all of that hard work will pay off, and they'll figure out control and which pitches to throw at what time. I was more encouraged than I was discouraged with his first start. I know there's a lot of people that feel differently.
Yeah, definitely.
He looked way better than he looked in spring training.
Right. So, big question coming into the year was the back end of this rotation. You get through the top 3. What do you expect with 4 and 5? Was last night an indication of what to expect with the 4 and 5s?
I think that there are times where, Kyle Kendrick went 5 2/3 on Friday, and for me, the first 5 were really good. He had 2 runs. I thought he got tired in the 6th inning. I know he wanted to finish that inning. He's made that abundantly clear that he wanted to finish that inning.
Right.
I think there'll be times where he'll give up 4 runs a game, but this offense can score more than that. It's the bullpen that needs to be able to shore it up on the back end. These guys have to go deeper, though. There's been a lot of concern about the Phillies bullpen, but guys like Kendrick, John Lannon, who pitches Game 5, these guys have to go deep into games. They have to be able to do what Cliff Lee did in the 3rd game against the Braves, and at least go 7. He went 8, but at least go 7 sometimes, just to give the bullpen a little bit of a reprieve.
Right, and that's what all their runs were scored yesterday were 5th and later. So
2 totally different games. 2 totally different games.
So switching to the hitting now, Howard's back and healthier. Utley, everyone's is there more of an onus on Howard to knock people in? He's an RBI machine. Every time there's someone on base, he's going to get him in. Is there more of an onus on him to knock people in, or guys like Utley and the guys in front of him to kind of set the table?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. I think Ryan can knock himself in with a home run a lot of times. Last year, even though he only played half the season, if you put his numbers, stretch them across the full season, played half the year, he was on pace for 120 RBIs, even with the bad Achilles.
Right.
I think he's going to be fine. I think it's going to be, if they keep it this way, Revere, Rollins, Utley getting on to keep him going, to keep Howard going. But I think there's also a little bit of pressure on the 6, 7, and 8 in this lineup, because Ruiz was the 8-hole hitter the first half of the year last year, and the Phillies, they needed that. They struggled, but he was productive, and he moved up in the lineup. This year, because guys are back, and Ruiz will be back in another 3 weeks, 6, 7, and 8 have got to be able to flip this lineup over, so the top 5 guys, from Revere to Young, can get up more than 3 times in a game, which yesterday, after the 4th inning, the Phillies had 1 base runner. They can't have that. They need to have more from those guys.
Right. And looking back at the back-to-back World Series appearances in 08 and 09, hitting offensively, the Phillies were third in the league. Since they haven't been higher than 10. Do you think that is just a change in the guard? Or I guess what's going to get them there this year? Is it going to be pitching or is it going to be hitting?
Well, I think it's going to be pitching and defense. I think the hitting they hit enough last year. I felt like they did. I didn't think they pitched well last year. So to me, it's pitching and defense. It's the starters.
Right.
The bullpen was not good last year. Papelbon was good, but 7th inning, 8th inning was not good. They blew 13 saves in the 8th inning last year. They had, and this is an amazing stat, they had 8 games that they lost where they had 2 outs in the 8th inning and the lead, and they lost those games. So they never even got to Papelbon in 8 of those games. Mike Adams is going to make a big difference. So to me, it's pitching and defense that's going to be what puts the Phillies over the top.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you answering my questions.
No problem.
It's nice meeting you.